The way we have structured the flow is to start talking about why outsourcing and technology are core into business strategy, right? If you take 10 years back, maybe they were more of support, right? If you talk about technology, a CIO will talk about run and maintain as a budget and as a standard support system. If you talk about outsourcing, it was one of the tools to facilitate that. But today, I think in the last 4 or 5 years, since the mobile revolution, technology is now the driver of business. I'm sure most of you agree that every company today is a technology company, right? It's as simple as that, right? For every Amex, you will have a PayPal. Now, is PayPal a technology company or a commercial company? It's difficult to identify, right? So every company today is a technology company. And if you take that view and look at some real-life examples of why this community here is extremely important to an organization, let's take some transactions and see where it goes from there. A few months back, I was buying personal insurance for my family, right? Here walks a sales agent with a mobile device, fills up everything on the mobile device. Within 25 to 30 minutes, he says, I've gathered all your data, I've forwarded it for approval, and maybe in 4 to 5 business days, you've got your policy up and running, right? And that's the way of doing business today. Now, what is the risk element to it? If on that given day, if this particular sales agent has not patched his mobile device, right? There was an iOS upgrade or there was an Android upgrade which he didn't patch. Personally, he didn't patch. But as a corporation, we have upgraded the technology landscape in the backyard, right? So the devices may not be compatible. What is the cost of that opportunity? He lost my sale, right? You wouldn't be able to book business on that given day. I'm also seeding a lot of cross-industry experiences during this discussion, right? So that we bring a little bit more diversity into play. If you take a step outside and look at the retail industry in the last 10 years, what do? We go online, we look for what we want to buy, we do a lot of research, then we go to courts, we go to a lot of stores, we touch and feel the product, then we again go back online, then we look for the cheapest and the fastest deal, whether it's eBay or Amazon, right? And when I was living in Shanghai, I can tell you the amount of internet usage there to buy products is tremendous. So that's how industries are getting impacted. If you go and think about outsourcing, whether it's manufacturing or IT, and the way it has played out in the last couple of decades, especially from a technology standpoint, the mid-80s to the early 90s were a period where there were large IT departments, predominantly in the US, North America, which is where it started off, where they didn't have the skills, and the skills were not available in the local market as well, right, within the country, so they went out. So it became outsourcing, right? And that's how maybe countries like India were the early adopters of that model, where business started moving to India, right? So it became a staff-augmented model where people came, perform work, risk-free. It's not much of a risk because I still manage my work. Then, with the advent of client-server, I think in the mid-90s, you were able to distribute our development, and we were able to distribute our maintenance. With that, people said, why can't I have people manage my services rather than just hire bodies? And that's how it kind of took it to the next level. And then came the early 2000 period, where people started saying, why can't I kind of make it strategic, right? Where I think from a multitude of vendors, people said, I want a simplified bucket list of players who are very strategic to me from a business standpoint. And their goal was to motivate those vendors to build skills for long term, right? So they are incentivized to build skills and take the business model to the next level. But then came the next inflection point in the last 5 years, where everything is kind of dramatically decentralized, right? Technology is changing every day, business is changing every day, where that takes you naturally into cloud, into crowdsourcing, and into a variety of disruptive disruptive technologies coming into play. And this means if a business has to reinvent itself, as Leonard said in his first pitch, they are dependent on a lot of outsourcing players, they are dependent on a lot of vendors, they are dependent on a lot of outsourcing players, and in addition to it, it keeps changing every day.